Welcome back to another edition of the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show, supplied all season long by Wholesale Supply Group. They are open to the public. Once again, I'm Andy Morris along with Jacob Mason and your Walker Valley head football coach, Drew Akins. It's Cleveland week. We're excited to be in the building. Short week here at school for us, but doesn't mean that the workload changes for you and the Mustangs.
No, it doesn't. We were here yesterday morning. I think we got in at 8 o'clock, did our team meeting, kind of put Polk to bed. Worked on Cleveland all day yesterday, and then came back yesterday afternoon, got on a bus and drove down to Baylor and played a JV game. Our young guys got some reps down there against Baylor. Really good young Baylor team, and our JV team has a lot of pieces that I'm really excited about. It's fun to watch. Casey Cunningham had a great night at running back. Lincoln Jackson had a 70, 80-yard touchdown. So being able to watch our young guys is always fun. And then today, Tuesday, as we film, is we're about to go out and have our second day of Cleveland work. So excited to get with our guys. Our guys brought a lot of energy yesterday for a day off, and hopefully we do the same thing throughout the rest of the week.
So once again, final score from Polk County, 34-0. Coach, we talk about the wing party. Anytime you serve up that goose egg to the other team, defense gets to have a wing party.
Yeah.
When's that taking place this week?
Thursday after tutoring. We're going to go to our mandatory tutoring session with our academic excellence plan, and then we're going to come back up to the field house, spend some time together, eat some wings before we head home and rest for the night before game night. So like you said, anytime you hold a team to zero, we talked about that on Friday, anytime you do that, is special. No matter who it is, no matter what kind of game it is, anytime you get a zero on the board defensively, and the way we did it, as we start talking about this a little bit more, the way we did it was really impressive. When you look at the number of 3 and outs and the 4th down stop, and the way we got to hold them to a zero was really impressive. So really proud of our defense. Excited to celebrate that on Thursday.
Well, Coach, you've got your burger, your 50 burger, your wings. We may have to come up with something for special teams, like a little ice cream party or something.
No, we score on specials. we don't have anything for that, but it's these are fun things to celebrate. We've talked about it for several years now. Celebrating successes. We're always going to celebrate a win, no matter what happens. We're always going to celebrate a win, and then adding on to the celebration of the wins with shutout parties and 50 burger parties. Those are just things that we do to give our kids a great experience, and our kids love them. They have a great time. I'm excited to get that with that group. It's always fun hanging out with them. That's kind of a time too that we're able to kind of be mentor mentees opposed to coach and player, where a lot of times that coach-player relationship is a lot of just coaching and yelling sometimes and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, where that's a time where we can kind of sit and just check in with each other. It's a great check-in time and a time where they kind of open up with us. So really excited to do that and just spend time together and celebrate a zero, which is always big.
Well, I'm glad Jacob hit on the special teams, because our play of the game against Polk County was Spencer McCooch's 93-yard touchdown kick return. That was our play of the game. And our Dale's Hitting in Air player of the game was Dawson Stum. Quarterback Dawson Stum went 12 of 15 for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. So big week for those two individuals.
Yeah, we talked about in the pre-show, just Spencer McCooch scoring a touchdown in 3 different facets. That's pretty cool, as we got into the weekend and didn't really process that on Friday night, that he had a receiving touchdown, a return touchdown, and then a rushing touchdown to end the night. Obviously 3 of our 5 touchdowns was him making big plays, not diving in from a yard or two. It was big plays. It was a 65-yard run. It was a 93-yard return. It was right before halftime, a 30-yard touchdown pass. So a lot of different things that he showed his ability, and that's kind of why we moved him there, because he's so talented at several different things.
Super utility type.
Yeah, and we can bump him out into receiver and not have to change personnel groupings. And there's a lot of things he does for us that kind of make us more multiple and more explosive. So really excited to see that. I love seeing us hit explosive runs. You know, when we talk about Spencer, one of the big things we've done, you know, Javen last week against Notre Dame, and then Spencer this week was just an explosive run. Seeing that 52-yard touchdown run or the 65-yard touchdown run, I think for the last couple years we've seen, you know, the 8, 10, 12, 20, you know, back down to 6. We saw that kind of run game, but now you're starting to see us kind of hit those explosive runs where, you know, you hit hash number sideline and go score. So, and that's something we've talked about throughout the preseason, as I thought we were more explosive at running back, and it's kind of shown up. So hopefully that can continue. We're going to lean on our offensive line like we have. And they're playing really well, but those two guys have made us really explosive in the backfield.
Which don't sleep on Javen, right? Go ahead, Jacob. I knew you were going with
Javen, he had that one that was close to being broke. I promise you, I think Coach Andy Jinks is up in the booth. He says he's gone, and then we end up getting tripped right.
Got it right on the hill.
Right on the hill. I asked him at the game after the game. I said, "Did you know he's behind you?" He goes, "I'll be honest, Coach.
No chance. No chance.
Know.
Threw the hand up. I was like, man, and I didn't see that live. Coaches told me after. The holding call, I saw the holding call, so I was more frustrated with that, and I was looking over at what had happened.
Which took place behind the play.
Yeah, it was a frustrating call, and that's something we've got to cure up. You know, you can't even give the perception of a hold. We've got to do better with our hands. We've got to make sure that we're using the correct technique, because with our technique, you really should never get a hold, which means that when we do get a hold that we're not using the right technique. But again, just the explosiveness. You know, Javen has done it now 2 weeks in a row. And then you saw Spencer, and you've seen him kind of throughout the preseason get really close. So to see him break through it and actually get one was big. And then obviously Dosen, his first ended up on our film stats, ended up at 201. Was 12 of 15 for 201 and 2 touchdowns. Hit Roman on a big vertical ball. That's been the most exciting thing to see from Dosen is us hitting these vertical balls. Because that was such a big part of our offense last year, and for him to be able to do that and show that he's doing it, you know, he's done it in scrimmages. It's shown up throughout the preseason, and now for it to start showing up in a game setting, that's really important for our offense. And you talk about the run game getting even better if we can keep defenses back because they're worried about the vertical ball. The run game gets even better.
So, Coach, it's a big week, Cleveland week, of course. Has nothing to do with what's going on in Class 5A and region. Speaking of, Mustangs move up to the number 4 spot in the Tennessee Sports Writers rankings. Again, number 4 in Class 5A, so that's a big deal. That's good recognition for your program. But it being Cleveland week, let's talk about preparation for that game and everything that goes into it, because it is a big game because it's a rivalry.
Yeah. 5 years ago, I would have said this game doesn't matter. Like, in the end, we're going to go try to compete in this game. Really, win or lose, it doesn't matter. Being in this area now for 5 years, it does. It's just different, and it's hard to explain to anybody that it doesn't live in it, that doesn't experience this all the time. Because down in Hamilton County, it just doesn't feel this way. I was at Ottawa for several years, and we played East Hamilton out of region. And if you won, cool. If you didn't win, cool. Like, you just moved on. And that's just not how it is here. It's a year-long thing. It
just means more.
Yeah, well, you joke about it, but I'm telling you, it does. It's just different up here. And, you get different people saying, it's been a year since we beat them, and it's been this and that. And, it matters. And when you look at our record since I've been here is not great in county, and I think it's affected our progress as a program. So it's something that our kids care about. They have to live with these peers for a year, and they have to hear about it for the year. So it matters to our kids, it matters to our community, and it matters building a program. It absolutely does. So we're gonna make sure that we do everything we can to win the ball game. They are unbelievably athletic. I could go through number after number after number. It scares me to even do that, because you miss one and that kid gets upset, and then he wants to prove a point. But Isaiah, it starts around Isaiah Davis. Number 1, he super talented kid, and what I've noticed from Isaiah is just his progress from sophomore year where he played a lot to junior year, where he kind of took a step backwards, and now senior year, man, he's exploded on the scene. And I think he has 400 total yards for the season. They're feeding him the ball. I mean, continuously the ball's in his hand. They're just trying to get him in space, because if that kid gets in space, it's hard to catch him. He's done a great job throughout the preseason, and the entire offense revolves around him. And then you got Braden Carroll, number 2 and number 3, both going vertical, and that's always a threat that you got to stay on top of that, because that's 50 yards, 60 yards like that. So those 2 players are really difficult. And then number 5 on the jets and on the quick stuff, they've done a great job of getting him the ball quickly. So there's 5 to 6 to 7 kids that can go score at any time. So we've got to make sure that we have our eyes right, that we're disciplined in what we're doing, that we understand the calls, that we communicate with each other, from coach to player, and then player to player, that they understand what the assignment is for that play, and they can go execute that. But it's not going to be an easy task to stop them, because they are so explosive offensively.
Coach, it's an interesting kind of 3 weeks. You play Polk County, neighbor, Cleveland, neighbor, and then you're going to Bradley the next week, neighbor. A lot of emotions tied in with that, because they're all games that, don't necessarily mean anything to our 5A schedule, but mean something to the kids. How do you keep their eyes focused on Cleveland this week?
Yeah, it's difficult. It is. It's difficult, but they have our full attention. I know that, but I know it's just a hard start to the year, but it's just like anything else. If you make every game important, then that week's going to be important. Last week, Polk was the most important thing we did. And it showed defensively, especially, that we were able to focus in. And, I talked about some pretty cool stats against Polk. We had 7 3-and-outs against Polk County. That's really difficult. I mean, they were very good offensively. Have a couple kids that are really difficult to tackle, and our defense just showed up and prepared the right way and made stops. This week, getting their attention on Cleveland's not been super difficult. Like, they want to focus on this game, but they also know, hey, next week, win or lose, we've got to get focused back in again. But what we try to do is just make sure every day that we're trying to get the reps that we need for that week, whatever it is. We have a plan for every single day. We have a plan for every single period within that day. And we don't – our preparation has changed over the last 2 years. It's one of the more proud things I am of our coaching staff. I don't talk a ton about what we do as coaches because our players do such a great job of executing that. But our coaches have done such a good job of creating a plan and executing a plan throughout Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that our kids understand it, and they're able to go out and focus on what they need to focus on for this 10-minute block. And then the next 10-minute block. And I think if you build it like that, and you build a program like that, they understand what it is we're focused on, and they're able to not look so big picture. They can look very minute at the minutia and be able to focus on what they're trying to accomplish that day.
All right, so with that, this Friday night kickoff at Benny Monroe Stadium, Raider Field at 7 o'clock, correct, Coach?
Yes.
At 7 o'clock, big game, big rivalry game for the Mustangs. Cleveland's 2-0, we're 2-0. Hopefully going to be some fireworks for the Mustangs. Looking forward to that. You talked about siblings and stuff, and I've enjoyed the past year, so I want to keep that good with my sibling as well. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break, and when we come back, Coach Akins is going to break down some film with us. Welcome back to the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Wholesale Supply Group all season long. Coach Akins, glad to have you back with us as we dive into some Polk County film. This is Jacob and I's one of our favorite part of doing the Coaches Show, is getting to kind of get the inside of what you pick up on film, and letting the viewers and us know kind of what's going on.
Yeah, listen, this is one of my favorite things to do. I and not just with y'all, like some of our favorite things to do, period. We invite coaches in over the off season all the time. We have a coaches clinic that we've kind of hosted for the last 5 years, and all we do is just get in, show some film, talk scheme. So it's a really fun thing to do. And this week it's going to be a little different. I'm just showing you very basic things, but what we're looking for within those basic things. And even mistakes that work out. That's where we're going to start today is, Spencer McCucci's touchdown. And if you watch the game, you saw I pulled Spencer aside and kind of talked to him. It's because you're about to see the mistake that he made. He could have made this a lot easier. So let's dive in on it. It's a pretty cool little film that we got going.
We love Spencer. We're putting him on the spot.
Oh, I'm going to. He knows. So this is our just action screen. It's our running back action screen. It's pretty typical. So let me get to the drone shot because there's no. Oh, we don't have a. That's the one play we didn't have a drone for. That's the one I forgot. All right, so let's just draw it from the sideline view. So what's going on here is we're going to make it look like our normal pass protection. So what we're going to do is we're going to run our 4 verts concept that we're pretty typical for us. We're going to run these 4 guys vertical. That's a concept we've been working on now for 2 years. A really good 4 vertical concept. We got guys that have adjustments off of it. But then what you see is we got protection, and if we time this up the right way, what ends up happening is Spencer's going to get 2 linemen out in front of him and pretty clean here because you can see the 4 verts should take the defensive backs vertical, which leaves 2 inside backers where our lineman can get that one, and we got a pretty clean little deal. But what actually happened here is Spencer ends up going the wrong direction. So when he comes through, it looks like a great play, right? So if you pause it here, you got Lane coming out, you got Lassen coming out, blockers right there in front of us. Spencer should be right here with 2 blockers in front. Well, Spencer goes the wrong direction, but thank goodness he's super athletic, is able to make a guy miss and get into the end zone. So it's not always how you draw it up, guys. Sometimes players just got to go make plays. And that was a
shout out to
scenario
Dosen for picking that up and still having the field vision to see him there.
Listen, Dosen's been absolutely outstanding with the screen passes. His timing on it, his understanding of the scheme, and his ability to get the ball to the running back or the receiver quickly has been a real weapon. So really proud of Dosen and what he's been able to do in this preseason. But you can see me down at the bottom. I'm not super excited about that one. I'm talking to Dosen immediately about it, and then I pull Spencer over to the side the next when he gets off the field. So later on, so this is a little more of a scheme thing that I wanted to show you guys what we're doing. So what was ended up happening is they were getting in a front that we really don't love. We call it a bear front, a TNT. A lot of people call it bear. We call it TNT because what you end up getting, ignore their defense right now. What you end up getting is a tackle, a nose, and a tackle. That's why we call it TNT, right? So it's tackle, nose, tackle is the front they were giving us. Well, when we went spread, they wouldn't give it to us. So what we started doing is we started motioning that guy in. And what it did was it gave us the box that we wanted. That 4 down lineman box is a whole lot different to block than the 5 down TNT look. That TNT look is built to stop power counter. Well, that's what we do, right? So we needed to find a way to get them out of that, and we kind of figured out about halfway through, hey, when we're in spread, they're not in it. And when we are in our Y-back sets, they are. So, hey, let's just start in spread and move to a Y-back set. So really simple thing, but what it did was it got the box the way we wanted it to look. So a pretty cool thing. That was Coach Pope's idea. Really spot on.
Is this a halftime adjustment, Coach?
This is now clip 41. I mean, this is probably 2-3 series into the game. Wow. You know, I say 2-3 series in. We had 1 play on the first drive.
Yeah.
So I would say probably the 3rd series of the game. The 2nd series was the one where we had the most plays, and they were in that TNT look the whole game, or the whole first drive that we had. And we can run against a TNT look. It's just not super clean.
Yeah.
So Coach Pope immediately was like, hey, when we were in our 4 wide set, they're not in it. Let's just start in 4 wide and go to it.
That's
Cool.
I mean, props to your coaches because that's 2 weeks in a row where you're picking up live game adjustments. With the power quarterback, people not lining up on the left side, and then now seeing the TNT front and able to drag that out because, like you said, that does open. It's much easier to open a lane than having 8 or 9 guys in the box versus the 7 that we have in the picture right now.
Yeah, and like I said, it's something. It's really nice to have a menu like we have. We have this big, huge menu. And honestly, we went in this game thinking we're going to use the pastas, just the pastas tonight. I kind of make the joke about the Cheesecake Factory. We have this huge menu, but tonight I'm just going to focus on this one page of it. That was kind of our thought process going into the game is, hey, we're just going to focus on this one page of the menu. This one page should really get us where we need to go. And immediately it's like, oh no, we got to flip the page because they're in something we weren't expecting. So really, really smart idea. And kudos to our kids for having, we didn't practice this throughout the week. It's not something we were planning on doing. Therefore, we didn't practice it a whole lot. And for our kids to just be able to do it, it speaks a lot to our preparation in the off season and our kids' intelligence. So what we did was we send that motion across. We get them in that front we want. And then we're able to actually get here. So what we were struggling with the 5 down is we couldn't get our guard around to the defensive end. Now we're able to do that, which gets Dawson a really clean pocket. The outside backer takes the flat, and what you see is this second flat come open. That intermediate 12 to 10 yard out is what we're able to hit here. So really clean pocket. Because we were able to get them in a different front. Dawson does a great job of getting outside the pocket, quick release. Hudson had a ton of space there and really had a great night after we got him calmed down and settled with the fumbles.
Yeah, I love those. I call them levels plays when you've got your receivers stacked up like that.
Yeah.
Dawson does a great job doing his checks. And the offensive line has done a great job so far this season, giving him the time to do that.
They've protected him great.
Can you tell us what Dawson's eyes, where he's checking?
So we're low to high. Yeah. So anytime we're running out of the pocket like this, not anytime, but anytime you have what Andy's talking about, the levels play or a flood concept. Anytime you get a flood concept, we're just going to try to read low to high. So 1 to 2 to 3 is typically what we're looking at. Every now and then we may get a little feisty and say, hey, let's peek deep first, and then let's go 2, 3. Let's peek at it deep. That way, if it does come open, we're able to hit it early. But for the most part, we're always going low to high, trying to get that ball to the flat. That's why you see Tate catch it in the flat so often. It's because when we get out there, if they don't cover Tate, we're going to hit him, try to hit him early where he's able to run with the football after the play. But really good play by Hudson. This is, this gives us a chance to kind of speak on the kid that Zeke is. This is our load formation. We've seen this a ton. I want y'all to see where this ball hits, though. This is the most impressive thing that you'll see. So what we love is that. Like that space is what we're looking for. That's what we're always trying to hit. And our line is doing such a good job getting A-gap open. Zeke was so good. We're really going to miss him for so many reasons. But this is one of the reasons. He got really good at running this A-gap power and really having that clean space to be able to get in the end zone. So super proud of Zeke. Love Zeke. Was an incredible response to what a lot of kids would treat as a devastating thing. For him to be selfless and start praying for his teammates and talking about how he trusts God's plan speaks to that kid's character. I love that kid. Glad everything has gone well over the weekend and he's been able to rest and start the recovery process. And excited for him to get back to wherever he's able to get to.
Yeah, Coach, if you could, just a quick update on the process after the injury for Zeke.
Yeah, he had surgery on Saturday morning, very early. He got released Saturday night, and he's been in the house. I think you're looking at a 3 to 4 month recovery on Zeke. But like I said, if nobody's going to outwork him. So, I can see him getting back in 3 months and being ready to go for basketball season. And, it all just kind of depends on how his body reacts to that surgery and how quickly it heals. But it's definitely something where I expect him to see him, mid to late basketball season and then into track. It's kind of what we're hoping. So, like I said, great kid. Thankful for the doctors that took care of him. They did a great job. And just love that kid and I love the love that our community has shown him and his family throughout this. So excited to get him back with us. He's still going to be a great leader for us, and he'll be around any chance that he can be around. Obviously, he's going to stay with us and do some of the things that Eli Cross is doing, where he gives us an extra set of eyes and that leadership in that room, where he's able to take our voice and be in the locker room as our voice.
Yeah,
so.
Having that presence is a huge deal with guys like them. Definitely glad that everything worked out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a scary thing Friday night. Not a lot of us knew what the injury was, what to expect. So glad that surgery went well, and he's on his feet and going to be with the team. So that's definitely a positive.
Yeah.
Yep. Are we still doing film?
We got. The only thing I have left is that last touchdown. Let's get that last touchdown. This is 2 plays after Zeke went down with the injury. So this is at this point I just want to score. Like I don't know if y'all saw. I had to walk away almost. Just the emotion of that moment. I had to catch my breath. Coach Pope called the first play after. So we came back. We ran power. And then I told Coach Pope, hey, I got it. I'm good. And we ran our shot to Roman. So our shot to Roman is a 3-choice shot. He can go vertical, he can go big post, or he can go what we call a dropout, where he runs back down the stem. You can tell right now by the demeanor of that kid and how far off he is. Hey, we got a real shot here at a vertical ball. Our protection is y'all know, is the most important thing to me. How are we going to protect this? How are we going to make sure that we protect it? Well, the first thing that you see again is we're going to come from outside in where they're not in TNT, because TNT is very difficult to protect the quarterback in, right? So we're first and foremost, hey, let's get them in that 4-down look so we're able to really be able to process what they're doing. So we come in, we call our hard count, they don't jump. And we're able to get them into the 4-down look. So we're going to go man. We're going to go 3-man slide to these 3 guys. And then our Y back is going to handle this, and our running back will handle that. If they don't blitz, Y back goes there, running back goes there. So really cool, easy protection. It's a max protection, which means that we're blocking everybody. They can't do anything to make us hot here. Okay, so again, Roman has 3 choices. He's got a vertical choice. He can run a post, which you've seen a lot. You've seen us do a lot where we get to a certain yardage and we break the post off. Hudson's done it a ton. Roman's had several big post touchdowns. Or he can hit that spot and run right back down the stem if this guy's super deep. That gives us 3 options there. And really, the defender can't be right. And that's kind of the goal of this. We knew right now, hey, with them 5 yards off, and if he doesn't backpedal immediately, and I don't even mean backpedal, if he doesn't turn and run right now, then I'm thinking vertical. And you can see that him and Dosen are on the same page. That right there, the timing, Dosen's throwing this ball and Roman's 10 yards down the field. That is what I see. A lot of fans see a vertical touchdown. Super cool, right? What I see is months and months and months of them working together and being up here on Sundays and being up here when nobody else is, practicing. Hey, let's get on the same page. Let's know where each other are going to be. Let's trust each other to do what the other one's supposed to do. And for him to lay that in, and, Dosen was very emotional too. Him and Zeke are super close. So for us to go down and be able to score the second play after was pretty special and a cool way to kind of end our offensive performance. We had the big run at the end, got the clock running. And once the clock got running, it became, hey, let's get out. Let's get out of here so we can go talk to Zeke and make sure he's doing okay.
Well, you definitely can see the chemistry, and Coach, I even saw them down at the middle school on the turf throwing this summer. Anywhere I would go this summer, I saw them together. That group of wide receivers and H-backs, but as a team, it was also very apparent on Friday night how much love they had for one another. And even when Roman, this is just a memory I had, Roman scored that touchdown, he honestly wanted nothing to do with the ball and wanted to get back to the sideline because you could just tell his heart was with Zeke.
Yeah, and Zeke, after the cool thing afterwards, Zeke heard it. He couldn't see it, but he heard the touchdown and was super excited for his tag. The first thing he said to me was like, "Oh, I heard the touchdown right after."
That's awesome.
He asked about the touchdown right after, who scored the touchdown right after he got hurt, and then did we get wings? That was Zeke's 2 questions. So excited to celebrate.
So he's waiting on his wings. You got to make sure he gets a delivery.
Listen, no, he's coming up on Thursday, so he's
awesome.
going to come up to our wings party on Thursday. But excited for the week. Excited to take on Cleveland. It's going to be a difficult game. But honestly, we need to end with our community showed what true love for each other looks like, and it was pretty cool seeing the other night, and I'm so blessed to just be a part of it.
So with that, 7 o'clock kickoff this Friday night at Benny Monroe Stadium over at Cleveland High School. You got to come out in full force, Mustang fans. Come support those guys. They're trying to create a little bit of a hostile environment. Let's bring the Valley environment down to Benny Monroe Stadium at 7 o'clock.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.